they treated this young man who was posing no threat to them.
No threat.
And
Yeah.
I won't get too emotional. Attorney Crudis.
Yeah. There was absolutely no threat at all, as we described it. He has leg irons on. He has handcuffs on. He poses no threat. He's face down, and it's really difficult to actually see him because throughout the duration, there are officers over every single part of him, pushing down hard, relentlessly, unyieldingly, for the duration of 11 minutes. You asked a question about the events that preceded that. So there is a cell in which he is held in, and we wanted the family to have an understanding of what occurred, so we briefly showed and permitted them to see the scene of when he's in the cell at Henrico. He's naked. He's lost, as Ben said. There's feces on the ground. It is so inhumane. He puts his hands through the tray area where food is passed through, and he's handcuffed at that point. Again, so every time that the brutality is waged upon him, he's handcuffed and or shackled at the legs. There's a forceful entry, and it's a small cell, and it's not a padded cell like they have there. They have a holding cell. There's a metal bed that is right there and a hard wall against it, and they came in with great force. His mother was worried about any type of head injury that could have occurred at that period of time. And then, as I said, we also saw a glimpse of the video where it's like an animal being carried by legs and arm, with his pants falling off him into the vehicle. It is what I witnessed today was, I just can't find words for it accurately. But it leaves you asking the question that they ask, which is why.
Because they pepper sprayed him at one point too, and you can imagine how disoriented you are when somebody pepper sprays you and you're in handcuffs and so forth. But they never ever try to give him the benefit of the doubt that this is a young man who's having a mental health crisis. Let's leave him in. I mean, when you look at the video, you will see it. It's 11 minutes. They didn't have to brutalize him for those 11 minutes. They could have just stood. He was by himself, handcuffed with leg irons. What possible threat could he have been? Yes.
Based on the footage from Central State Hospital, what specifically do you believe caused his death? Was it someone's knee on his neck that choked him to death? Can you give us specifics based on what you have seen and what the Commonwealth's attorney has told you?
I will say this briefly, and then I will have Mark opine on it as well. I think it was the sheer length of the weight and the force on his body that seemed to just be so unreasonable, so unnecessary. I mean, it's like Caroline, his mother, said, why? Why? I'm sorry, Mark.
Ben describes it very well, as the family does. Every part of his body is being pushed upon hard for the duration of 11 minutes. It's unrelenting. And the OCME's office, that's our Office of Chief Medical Examiner, has used the word asphyxia with Caroline when they described what had occurred.
Yes.
And it is just, when you see the video, you will be shocked.
I'm seeing two different things here. I'm hearing from you that the public will eventually see this video, and I'm seeing a statement from Ms. Baskerville saying that she does not plan to release the video. What should we
Well,
expect?
you should rely on the Commonwealth attorney and what she's going to do. She's been very transparent with the family, and I imagine she's going to be transparent.
What was your understanding though on how the video might be released?
We don't have any frame of reference other than we saw with Tyree Nichols and others. The family was given the courtesy, and then at the appropriate time, after all the law enforcement entities had reviewed it, then they will release it to the public. I know that we're calling for the Department of Justice to intervene in this matter because we do think his constitutional rights were violated.
Yes.
And so it may be they need to look at all the videos at this point before they release it to public consumption.
Yeah.
Do you feel like